Everybody. Here we go. Don Sergio Sledge. Probably gonna be a light crowd today, I'm willing to bet. So, anyway. Got Svinborn all the way from Iceland. So, how's it going? Last 30 minutes of awesome for 2025. So I thought we'd talk about a couple things here, like what exactly happened in 2025. So right now, as of right now, we have the S&P 500 up about 17% for the year, Nasdaq up about 21% for the year, the Dow, the laggard of the bunch, up about just shy of 14% for the year. And maybe these numbers will change just a little bit with 1 day left to trade. Our 5 tech giants inside the Magnificent Seven were responsible for nearly half of the S&P 500's gains this year. And we're seeing corporate earnings growth right now. Analysts expect that the S&P 500 companies will boost earnings by 15.5% in 2026, which is up from a 13% gain in 2025. We're expecting the AI investment boom to continue, according to most analysts right now. And for 2026, we're thinking that out of the 21 major Wall Street analysts or strategists that predict stocks on major financial media, 21 out of 21 of them are bullish in 2026, expecting higher prices by the end of 26 than we have at the end of 25 here. The average forecast across those 21 analysts is 9% gain, which is a bit, it's kind of mild compared to this year. That would be on the S&P 500. And this will be the 4th straight year of gains. Now, the last time we had 3 big streak of gains, like we've had, like what we're ending 2025 with, this is the 3rd year of 3 big up years. The last time we did that was in the 97, 98, 99 time frame. You remember what happened in 2000? Yeah, it wasn't too great. So this will be interesting. Really, really interesting. So specific targets, Ed Yarden expects 7,700 on S&P 500. That's up 11% from current levels. And a contrarian concern. Now, I guess even the analysts were concerned that there's a lack of bearishness anywhere in the market. And typically you've got to have some bears to be able to pull money into the bulls. And when we get a bullish exhaustion, no buyers are left and there's no sellers. Well, once we start dropping, there's nobody to buy back. It gets to be pretty nasty. So we could open the door for a bigger pullback. So it should be interesting how this unfolds. And in 2025, we saw nearly a 20% pullback from the mid-February, chop through that April Liberation Day, and that drop was bigger than COVID. 100 points bigger on the S&P 500, and only lasted 10 days longer than COVID, even though nobody thought they were going to die this time. We all thought we were just going to get tariffed to death, you might say. Some potential catalysts coming down the pipe, tax cuts, rate cuts. Those both could be very bullish, put more money in the pockets of more people, and that money usually finds its way back to the stock market. If we get some sort of rebate checks issued, that money will probably find its way right back to the stock market, go out of the hands of the lower income people and right into the hands of the big tech, holders of stock and stuff like that. So that would pump right into the stock market. So yeah, I guess let me know in the chat what other catalyst you think could propel us higher. I know there's risks all abound. the reducing the, they're going to open up the ability for banks to apply for reduced margin. Like they have to hold, have to hold as much assets against their lendings and stuff like that. That'll free up capital. Large IPOs coming up potentially next year, like SpaceX and Anthropic and a variety of other ones. If those hit the streets, that could be trillions of dollars of angel investment type capital, private investment capital that's freed up and ready to roll into other things. So all of this could be catalysts to jockey things around in 2026. And one of our worst performing categories of 2025 was healthcare. It is unlikely to remain the worst performing sector as we go into 2026. So this all should be pretty interesting, I guess you might say. Let's try to find, I thought there was a sector one on here. Probably FinViz, not on this one. Yeah. It's interesting. They've added more stuff. You can look at all U.S. companies. And we see finance. Performance year to date. You can see it's been a fairly bullish year. We've got some dark green ones in there like Google. Everybody's big dog. NVIDIA coming out pretty nice, but not the top dog. Seeing Palantir up 137% in there. Seeing AMD up 76%. Seeing MU up 244%. GE up 85%. Other dark green ones over here. GE Vernova up 98%. LRCX up 139%. One of the biggest losers here. Not even sure what that is. 96% down. So there you go. And I've commonly said that, you should kind of check this out occasionally throughout the year, especially at the half. The things that are lagging in the first half don't tend to recover by the second half. And that's kind of what we've seen here. Some of the strongest ones keep being strong. They may not keep performing at the same rate, but they don't tend to turn into the laggards by the end of the year. That's just the trend. It's not a universal rule. It's just a trend. So it's been a pretty good up year, I guess you might say. And the SpaceX IPO will unlock money. It's unlikely to provide giant opportunity for investors. It's going to unlock capital that can be redeployed. So that capital's been locked up. And that's kind of the long and the short of it right there. Now, jumping back over here, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, well, there's people you can hire for that. So basically, be careful when you trade stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries, bonds. If you trade them, you might lose money. And I'm just a guy on YouTube kind of showing what I do, and it doesn't always make money. So be careful out there. Tomorrow is the last trading day right there, the December 31st, last trading day in 2025. The day after that, Thursday, January 1st, the market will be closed. And then we're on to the first trading day in 2026. We will have roughly 250 trading days, bar any kind of craziness happening in the market that causes a day to be closed or shut down. If you look at this right here, we grab it, we put this on the first trading day in January right there. We go all the way to the last trading day in right there. 250 bars. That's 250 trading days right there. 250 trading days. Crazy enough, right? So that's what we got cooking for 2026. Just 250 trading days. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. Hope you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you got a couple days to get it together. Now, S&P 500, this is an interesting pattern. We attempted a breakout right in here. Attempted it and came back and retested today. This started with this high back here, continuing off of these highs right here. We popped through right there, coming back to back test right here. If we can stick this landing, probably going higher. If we don't bounce here, if we get down below this, we could potentially save it, but more than likely we're going to go revisit that low right back there. It's just kind of the way this pattern works. When we fail the breakouts, we tend to crush it on down. So that's what we got cooking right now. On S&P, Nasdaq looks a little bit more bearish. Lower highs coming across here. Tried to break up, got smacked back down, punched in the face. This right here, indecisive, but can quickly erode down here. Quickly erode down here. So we could start out with a little bit of volatility in 2026, just based on the chart patterns. I know a lot of you don't believe in the chart patterns, but it's kind of how I make all my predictions, is just on chart patterns. Don't really care about news. Don't really read into the news. I keep up with the news just because humans love stories, and if I don't talk about the stories, then nobody watches my channel. I've learned that over the years. So the best performing stuff of this year won't be the best performing stuff of next year. So gold and silver, unlikely to be the best performing stuff of next year. We just don't usually get a two-peat, a repeat, and it's just kind of the way it works. So whatever sector was hot this year, unlikely to be the top performing sector again next year. Now, an interesting piece of analysis I was reading before I came live talked about how right back here, this was very interesting, I thought. Right back in here, gold did something interesting. We shot up in an exponential fashion right here after going through some consolidation. Now, Bitcoin didn't run right there, but gold and silver did. They both ran higher. This went pretty substantially higher, from down here in the 1400s all the way up here to 2000. That was a pretty substantial move. Well over a 50% gain. Then you jump over and you look at this currently. We have the same kind of crazy move going here, where we went from a trough all the way up into this current high right there, taking it from about 2,500 up to 4,500. Now we're kind of chilling out a little bit. Now, what was particularly interesting about the analysis, they were talking about, look at when gold peaked right here around August. I haven't actually looked this up, so I was reading about it, and then I came live. Then they said, pull up the Bitcoin chart. Check out that August time frame there. Look where we were. August 2020. So gold went on this big epic run. Bitcoin did kind of nothing. And then that happened. But gold didn't keep running. I thought that was really fascinating. Really fascinating. So you compare these charts. Dial this in over here. 2020. So it kind of makes the move on gold look kind of muted. Because Bitcoin's been so volatile in its price. That big move in gold. And then a bigger move in Bitcoin right there. So what the article was kind of saying was, if we get kind of a same sort of thing, right now we've had Bitcoin doing a consolidation while gold went on an absolute rip. What if in 2026 gold kind of pauses, chills out, and then Bitcoin rips again? It was interesting, I have to say. You kind of line up that high right back there at the beginning of the year. Gold's been outperforming. Bitcoin's been negative. I welcome it. It'd be pretty nice. Still heavy in crypto, so we'll see. See what happens. It's definitely interesting. Always looking at new stuff, new ways to look at it. I do think there's a high risk that we're in crypto winter. That high happened within 2 days of when I said it would, all the way back here in 2023. It's kind of scary to me. Maybe we just came up shy, but maybe the money will rotate back out of gold into other things. You know, time will tell. So Ethereum also kind of sitting here, has not really broken out. Like, we've just been in this sideways, choppy gunk, I guess you might say. Now, the pattern off of lows isn't really conclusive at all here. You know, if this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even into this high, that maybe it was a 2, then this possibly another 1, and this possibly another 2. We're gonna have to get going here sometime soon. Let's sit here at this 618 of this move up, this retrace. We don't want to push any lower. We want to get the heck out of here. So this one would support a nice potential upside here. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, 1, 2, it's Elliott wave stuff. And that could support a move up to like $8,300 just on the next pop. And that's without even taking into consideration where the rest of this would potentially end up. So we could, you know, grind this on out, possibly up in the $10,000 area. Be pretty big on Ethereum right there. Now Bitcoin, you know, I'm still sticking on my guns here. Still expecting, if we can pop that 150 to 170 area that I've had on the chart for pretty much the entire year, or since we bottomed. It's basically the 150 comes from 10 times the low. That's usually the minimum we've expanded. Every time we've made a low, we usually make a high at least 10 to 20 times higher. 10 times higher than the low we made back here would be 152,000. We just haven't done that yet. So we came up 125 and kind of stalled out. 126, depending on which exchange you were watching. And that could turn around and actually do something next year. Or we could, if we confirm we're in crypto winter, we could spend the first part of the year dipping to 75, doing a 618 retrace, and then plummeting on out till somewhere down in, if we're going to be in crypto winter, probably going to spend 9 to 10 months of 2026 consolidating, make a bottom somewhere August, September, October, and then start the rally from there into the next cycle. So that would be kind of the expectation, because usually crypto winter lasts from the peak down to the trough about 12 months. Since we peaked here in October, roughly beginning of October would be the expected bottom, if the 4-year cycle stays intact. And right now, there's no reason to believe it won't. So there you have it. So gold is quite over the skis. Everybody loves to hype everything. If you remember coming into this year, everybody's talking about how Nvidia is going to infinity, and we're going to keep going. And when you look back at the year, we are higher, but it's not the biggest performing asset that everybody thought it was going to be. We're still chopping around right here. Still have this potential to retrace back and retest the breakout from last year. And rewind 2 years back, everybody was talking about how SMCI was going to the absolute moon, and you can see where this has gotten us. Hasn't made the lower low yet, but it's working on it. Working on it. So everything in the hype comes to an end. I know we as traders love to forget. You love to pay attention to the shiny hot, sector, and then shiny hot things, and then turn around and you're like, man, how did I miss the next big thing? So some of the up and coming stuff, I believe for 2026 is going to be AI robotics stuff. Right now, where's the winners? Where's the losers? I don't know. It's not really clear. Rockets was a pretty big thing in 2025. Rockets and space data center stuff may continue to be hot in 2026. I mean, these aren't all that ridiculous yet. They are pretty high, but they're not all that ridiculous. Been a little more volatile. You got Rocket Lab, ASTS. Definitely had some volatility in here. Made some big moves, can make bigger moves. So I'm not sure that these are played out yet. Also, you got stuff like Joby. These air taxis. We'll see how that actually shapes up. Right now, that's still not really legal to fly around in the United States. So it doesn't really fit in our current air control system. I'm not sure how that's going to actually play out. Maybe through AI and all the stuff we can figure it out. But right now, that's just not really a thing. So, Archer kind of already off the list here. And it's going to be interesting the way this all plays out with the potential. Amazon in the robotics arena, they haven't really been priced in for robotics. Tesla has millions of robots out on the road, even though people don't want to think of them that way. They are autonomous robots, can be autonomous robots with just a software update. Not being treated as a AI robotics company so far. Google, they've got Waymos out there on the road. Gonna have more Waymos in 2026. Some more AI robotics stuff. So real world AI robotics. And Amazon's not just its own stuff. Warehouse supplies, things like that, can all be big potential plays for 2026. So it's all very interesting, I think. So I've kind of blabbed enough about what might be hot in 2026. I'm going to spend at least 30 minutes doing requests. At 6 o'clock, we'll switch over to an Ask Me Anything for channel members. So if your name's in green, if you have a little icon little star by your name as a channel member, you're invited to come to the Ask Me Anything. Stick around to the end. And now we'll take requests. So the rules of the request, 1 per person per request. Got to wait for somebody else to go. If you just load me up, I'm going to start skipping you. I need complete ticker in capital letters. If you have a question about it, please use complete sentences. If you say, thanks for that, please don't use that, this, that, these, those. Use a complete sentence like, thank you for XYZ ticker. And yeah, so I'm going to rip through them. Whenever we get to 6 o'clock, we'll switch over. It'll all switch over automatically. And I'll keep going. So if you aren't a channel member and you miss, I don't get to your ticker, it'll be in the channel member area. So there you go. That's the rules of the game. And I see FCX. I'm going to review it on a daily chart. I'm not really going to dive in and do a deep analysis. It's nobody wants all that on a bajillion tickers. So FCX has been one of my potential breakout plays for a little while here. We have this move up right here, this retrace. nice bounce, and that provides the immediate upside potential. Maybe as high as 69 right in here, if I can get continuation. Now, smaller time frame, we may get a pullback because we're kind of pushing the limits on this move right here at this in the 50s. So we may, in the, for a week or two or three or month or so, we could see a pullback, retest that breakout before we push on up into that area like that. That's FCX for you. XYZ. Block, formerly known as Square. So this one's bearish and probably going to make a low lower than all this crap right here. And grab the... I expect this to make a... I've just kind of... This one and PayPal, they both have the same consolidation in here. They both look like they're going to push down. So PYPL has the same, little bit spikier on that run, but same kind of consolidation and needs the same sort of flush down lower to kind of clean up the chart. So both of those I'm kind of bearish on a little bit right now. Either one could break out, start making some higher highs, but right now block just doesn't look like it's got its crap together. Despite trying to get into blockchain stuff, it just hasn't been able to work the deals and all that. So their troubles kind of keep compounding. And Oxy, is this finally doing something? No, it is not finally doing something. So we have a move up and a retrace, but we did dip below the 618 there. I don't know. It's gnarly. It's below the roadmap line. That's a downtrend. It's been a downtrend since Warren Buffett started buying it. I don't know. It's the new head of Berkshire Hathaway going to stick with it? Stick with the plan? I mean, this has been pretty bad and accelerated the downtrend. We were on this kind of downtrend. Now we're on a steeper downtrend. If we start breaking out, getting higher highs, that would be positive. But right now, still in a downtrend. Wouldn't expect any kind of major switcheroo here. You say, what about their XYZ? What about all this new whatever they're getting into? But right now the chart doesn't say there anything positive is going on. ANET, potential to bounce off the roadmap line. Nothing's really changed here in a couple weeks. We got a fast retrace and just kind of parked it right on top of the roadmap line. We get it back. We get back above the 145, 146 area. Sets up the 172 upside. But until we do that and fill that gap in there, still have downward pressure. And this could pop up here and take another spill down and kind of match this first retrace right here, right over here, and come on down a little lower. That would be kind of a normal corrective pattern. The way this is kind of chopping in here right now, it's starting to look like that might actually be what happens too. So we pop up in that area and then get another flush down into this, low 100 to 90 area down here before it can find a bottom lift. As the rise of robot taxis happen, we'll see if Lyft and Uber can hold on to any kind of market. Lyft partnering with Waymo in some locations, from what I understand. And that's a rough looking chart. We've got this initial move up off the low from 23 into 24, this retrace, and then we've made this move right here that just kind of stopped in a very A equals C kind of fashion. I was just talking about the same move on the downside for ANET. This is upside down on Lyft. The trend coming into this was down. This is a corrective move up. Continuation would be down, potentially on Lyft. So if this starts breaking down back into kind of the $15 area, So it starts breaking back down in this zone. Probably going to make a lower low than what we made back here. And that's what lift looks like right there. Alrighty, moving on. ATI. Yeah, so it's just sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops here. There's the high. Pushing the 200% extension of the last pullback to the roadmap line. And 118, 124. Next upside resistance. Somewhere in there. Didn't get that perfectly on there. So 120, 126. And be careful. Like one of the, it's going to run out of juice somewhere in here. Yeah, we popped up here, retraced the back breakout, popped up, paused briefly at that 1618. Going for the 200 and 272 and the 2618 all the way up to 135. If we just rip that and just keep on going exponentially higher, the risk for coming back down violently is very elevated. And this is a pattern that shows up over and over and over. Right back here. Same kind of thing happened. Went to the sky, and then the trouble started. And this was unrelated to, big tech or anything like that. So that one shot up and ran out of juice, ran out of buyers, ran out of narrative, and then all the way back down. Same thing on this one. Got up here, ran out, and all the way back down. This is called the bubble pattern. You've never seen this before. It's right here. Plays out pretty much exactly like this. We get euphoric. Everybody sucks in. Gold's on this train right now. We get complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation. I mean, it's just go through a cycle. Yeah. And anytime anything's getting hyped up, it's basically in that cycle. They run their course. So PRLB. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that one did it back here and still working on coming out of the funk. So looking it up off the lows, we've got to move up, 3-wave retrace, move up, 3-wave retrace, move up, fast retrace, move up. Probably going to do another retrace. And that's all very overlapping, where take a high, skip a cycle, take a low, overlap. Take a high, skip a cycle, take a low, and overlap. Take a high, skip a cycle, this comes down and overlaps. That's still overlapping. Overlapping price action is corrective type price action. That can result in a return back to the lows. Now, it doesn't have to, but that's just typically what happens. You'd be like, oh, well, that's a channel. So if we break through the channel, watch out below. And you see that quite often where things break through their uptrend of lows and then go on a bigger, deeper retrace. So that's what I'm concerned about Apple doing right now. It's been kind of marching steadily higher, keeping this uptrend of lows kind of intact. Coming up through here. And then we've kind of busted through. And this opens the door for a bigger downside swing right there. Now, you could be like, well, you should go back to here and put it off of here. Okay, well, that's a secondary. This was a higher energy climb. Now we've kind of broken through the lows of that higher energy climb. We may come back and visit this one and find support here and go higher again. Or it could bust through both of them and then take a bigger, deeper retrace. So that's something to be careful of when you have these uptrends cooking. Humana, maybe more than you asked for on that. Humana's still working on this nested confirmation of a bottom. I think I have this drawn better on this chart. Humana, jump up to that. Yeah, there we go. So I've got this drawn right here. Been looking for that support to hold, break through the downtrend of highs right there. and get the continuation up in here. Same sort of pattern. That if we stop right in the right in the 339 to 380 area, stop down on the lower end of this, that's more of a corrective three wave, trend down, correction up, continuation lower. So be careful. We want to see this bust on through, get that continuation up to the 440 area to kind of confirm that this is probably the bottom in place. That would be a move like that. We would retrace, want to hold above here and go higher again. And that would probably take us back to the all-time highs at some point on Humana. So UNH also kind of in the cooking on this same kind of reversal setup. We blasted up off the lows on news of Buffett buying, slammed into the roadmap line, met some resistance. Still expecting a little bit of retrace here. If we can do that, sets up the potential for this to go higher. And then we want to get at least up to the 450 area, if not confirming by getting up to the 610 area on that next move. So I was hoping for this bounce back here. It's taking a bit longer. Could take several months into 2026 before we see it. And then we want to see that rally up to the 600 area, consolidate, hold above, and go even higher right there. So UNH, potentially bigger moves than Humana. BBAI, just sitting here struggling on the roadmap line. All the AI stuff that was hyped up just kind of took a pause here after Thanksgiving. You know, after into the holidays, we've just kind of taken a pause on a lot of this AI stuff. And it's just consolidating right in here. We've seen Soundtown also kind of doing the same thing. We kind of hit a high and we've been consolidating, working on trying to find the low here so we can go higher again. But all this stuff may have run its course, and that, you know, we may have hit peak hype here and be done. So it's got to be careful in all those. AVGO, looking for this to actually touch the roadmap line. Came up shy right there. Now it could be a 4-hour bounce. Go back to this chart. I think it's clean. Yeah. So there's two things at work here. We have this gap up that we left open right back here. We may need to visit that. We have an initial move down. It was very fast. We may work our way back up in some sort of lazy fashion, back up to a 618 retest, right in there. And if we turn down again, make that next move down, it'd be roughly in this 250, you know, as low as 250, maybe 285 area, right in here if we do it. So, and then we have the cap down resistance right there too. So if we pop up and then turn down off of that area, the potential is to come down in here. And then we have that gap fill that would also happen at the same time. So this could kind of be a lackluster performance for a little bit in 2026 until we finally do this flush out, and then could go higher from there. So that's what I've seen on that one. Rocket Lab still has a daily chart pattern. 80, you know, looking at this 83 up here as the next extension. So far, we're holding on to this back test of the breakout. This little zone right here. We're back testing it. We're holding it. And if we get below it, though, probably taking a bigger spill back down here to this 50 area. I want to see that hold on and pop at least to the 1272, if not the 1618. But we did hit the target. So if you check out my algorithm here, it got out right there on that tag. So we hit the high, we hit the low, tagged it, and that was it. So more often than not, the next thing that happens, retrace back to the roadmap line. Maybe back in the 50 area right there. So be careful out there. On Rocket Lab. RKT, Rocket Companies. Set up the upside potential. There's the high, there's the low. Entry was right back here, and target is 2360. You know, see, sitting here grinding on the roadmap line. If you wonder how the roadmap line works, go visit the channel homepage. Let me jump over here, right down here underneath me. Click the link for the channel homepage. Go check that out. Pinned to the channel is a video that talks about the roadmap line, gives you the code. If you're like, code, no thank you. I'm not any kind of technical person that could mess with that. That's cool too. Further down, expand the description of the video. Link is in the description. For $5, you can get an easy button and add it to your chart. You know, does it work in XYZ platform? Thinkorswim, yes. I've got it for TradingView, and I've got it for what do you call it, MotiveWave. And you know, otherwise the code tells you what it is, and you can put it pretty much in any platform. All you gotta do is go ask like Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever. Hey, write this code into an indicator for whatever platform. Probably do it for you. So there you go. NOC double bounce with that move right there. Could come down, do it again. Be a triple bounce. Resistance right here at that 618, right in that 600 and change area, 603. If we can get above that 652 upside, and if we turn down off of that zone right there, if we pop up here and turn down, well, same pattern with a bigger swing. So the fact that the market may be slightly biased down, it's not lost on me that we may see some of these play out right here into the new year. COHR. So this is up here at extensions. No real super awesome big retrace for a while. You'd be like, well, what about this one? And we've kind of played that one out too. So we're working on one right here. First move down, retrace, and that next move down may take us back down to this 160 area right here. Right back like that. That's what I see for right now. Could bring us all the way back to the daily roadmap line, or even back to a breakout retest. And we kind of hit our high right here, retraced, jumped out after, you know, that being this kind of the high for a while. So we could come back and retest that breakout area one more time. If we hold on to it, we could go higher again. So that's what I'm looking at. COHR coin is doing nothing, and it's probably going to push lower. That's what this looks like. We're kind of confirming a potential 5 down. This is another concern I have for crypto winter taking place here. And the proportions are bad on this, so all we need is a lower low, and that kind of confirms that we've got 5 down, which is pretty much what we did today. It's like splitting hairs here. Man, oh man. Let's see what's the low on that. 231.50. Low on that. 231.17. So just barely holding on. And then 231.35 after hours. So if this goes lower low, that's 5 down. The next thing I would expect is a corrective retrace higher. Now it's possible that was this is an A, a B, and this is the C with a 5 down on the C. In fact, the proportions look better there, but if that were the case, this could also mean we're going to go down a bit further for the 5th wave down. Could be down to 183. So splitting hairs between A, B, C corrective, or is this a 1, 2? This is some sort of 3, and then we do a 4 and a 5, and this be a 5 and the 3. I don't know. If that's the case, then we'll do a 3-wave retrace and another big retrace back here. So I'd rather be the ABC, but that still leaves downside to go if we confirm this lower low here. Be down to 183. Bummer. I was hoping that Coinbase was done on the downside. A weekly chart bounce. We do have support right where we are, but can very easily push on down right there before we can bounce. Yeah, probably downside. Probably downside. Bummer. And more, pretty much giving up hope on that one for now, unless, you know, the gold thing works out, but that's lower low. So now we've got this low to contend with back here. That looks like where we're gunning for. A retest 2 years ago. Break below that, it's back to that one, and then that one. So that's the layers of support. If we don't find any bounce there, then lower low. You know, when they decided to start taking on debt back here, that was not good. Just kind of wrecked it. Really kind of wrecked that one. So, DLR. Looks like we've got a first move down, a retrace, and the potential for more downside. Gonna be an A, B. Whoop, started in the wrong place. A, B, C down. So it looks like what we're cooking with on DLR Lunar. Let's go ahead and start the countdown here. Give it an extra minute, 15 minutes. So channel members, reminder, we're gonna switch over to a channel member only stream in 15 minutes. So give you an extra couple minutes for those of you that are just subscribers. If you want to be a channel member, click the button right here under the video. I guess it's over that way. And join, be a channel member, support me and my family in this endeavor to do YouTube. I do YouTube as bonus content. So Lunar here, another stock for potential to put out there some space robots, right? That's what Intuitive Machines does. Right now, they've not been super successful getting crap deployed out in space, and their stock kind of reflects that. So start out as kind of a SPAC pattern, lower low, spike, spike. This is a lower high. This is a lower high. This is a lower high. Till we start getting out of that funk, things can still go down to zero. This thing going bust is a very real possibility. Losing lots of money. Money's expensive. Took on a bunch of debt. That's usually a bad sign. So caution here. The chart doesn't look great. It's a lower high. It's a 3-wave up. Into a dangerous spot. Down. Retrace. Down. First move down. Retrace. Yeah, it's off the 618. Yeah, that puts it pretty much down to zero. So yeah, I'd be careful on that one. That doesn't look too hot. AVAV. So this one bounced off the bottom of the roadmap line. Not a fan of that. We're gonna have to hold the low here. It's possible we're just working on a little baby 618 retrace. You really zoom it up. Just a few candles though. Doesn't give me a lot of confidence. So we got to hold on to this 239. If we don't hold on to it, probably going lower low. Right there. So this is a downtrend. Didn't even touch the roadmap line on the daily chart there, so that'd be the support zone for now. But it could turn into something deeper on the downside. Yeah, we do have that low from right back here in September. Like to see that hold, but if it doesn't, we could go fill this gap down here. All the way back down to 195 area. Not so sure on that one. There's lots of stuff you can put your money on. AVAV is not one I'm putting my money on. Merck continuing to be bullish. I've kind of been chasing after this one since back here. We made this bottom. I quit putting trades on it sometime back in the summer, but we did actually bust through. We're working on this 618 right now. If we can continue and confirm getting above it at that 106 area. Look at the post market. Looks like we're getting up through it. So that wasn't a daily close above, I don't think. Let's see, was it? Yeah, we got one a couple days ago. So we did get a daily close there a couple days ago. Let's see. This is not going to like it. Took way too long for that move on this time frame. Let's see. Going to be a monthly chart bounce. Yeah. So if we close the month above that 106 area, sets up a monthly chart target at 146. So we need to get that close above here. If we don't close above it, that could just be a first move down and we get another move down. So if we reject off that, this is like splitting hairs here with 1 day left to trade this month. 1 day left to trade this year. Could push it down back here. So that could be what happens. Be careful. That would be the upside, and that's the downside potential. Not necessarily awesome on Merck. So I'd be cautious right now. FRD. Bird. So it has a roadmap bounce. There's the high. Here's the low. There's the close above the 618. Upside potential 24. And the statistics 32, 81, 1.2. It's real. This is running rich, but this is running standard. So doesn't particularly spark my fascination on it. The last one took quite a while. It kicked off in April. Took till September to work. And we can see that same kind of time frame again, 6 months or longer. So there you go. Homeford. Friedman Industries. Next up, INOD. INOD. So again, bounce off the bottom of the roadmap line, opens the door for pushing lower. There. And where would the bottom be? At this point, we don't really have a bounce to project anything off of, so gap down. I mean, back to almost the same sort of stuff like I was talking about on AVAV. You can see that gap fill right back there. And MP looks like that one ran its course. It hit the level I thought it would on the most loftiest kind of move. Now we're coming back to back test the breakout, basically. It broke out through those highs. Back testing. We may kind of overlap just a little bit. And if we turn back higher, break through the 618, that'd be positive for going higher. Looking at a high and whatever low we make. 618 up there at 75. 109, 119 would be the upside. That's all I got for you right now. Just 109, 119 possible. Could climb the fib ladder, but doesn't. It looks more likely it's run its course. Now, if it doesn't hold on to this high, right? If it doesn't hold on to the breakout, The unfortunate thing is it can come all the way back down. There's no real strong support till we get back down around 20. Yeah. Down here where that consolidation was, down around 20. That's what MP looks like. JBL. Got that high, we got that low. Nice 3-wave bounce coming up. 244.90 target. Entry was back here. Looking for that final little move. If you're late now, that's all that's left, and then a retrace. So fairly large downside, and at this point, if you got into it back here at the 618, I'd probably move my stop up, but stop is $1 below the low until we hit the target up here. If you're just trying to get in now, the risk for a pullback is elevated. And you're welcome. On the PRLB, Nike, still the same pattern, still the same everything. Nothing changed. Move up, retrace, next move, 113 possible. Got to break through the roadmap line, got to break through the downtrend of highs. Got to get up through that to go higher. Otherwise, we glance off of this stuff, lower low in the cards. Right there. FSLR for solar. Be careful. Solar credit runs out tomorrow on all the solar stuff. And that's kind of been the catalyst. Like when they announced that was going to end, I said this stuff will probably all run into the end of the year. Saw a lot of that happening. Couldn't break out to new highs. Catalyst is done. So we saw Sun run up here and stall out at those prior highs also. Solar play may be done for now until some sort of new catalyst sparks, which means that all this stuff may be due for a pullback. So FSLR might be due a pullback. Could pull back into this 200 area. Roadmap line at 220, possibly down to 200. Yeah. Maybe even deeper. Yeah. I'd be careful on that right there for Sun Run and our solar and the solar stuff at all. In VMI. And just a reminder, we're about to switch over in 3 minutes to members only stream. I'll continue the list. We'll start in chat. You don't have to re-request anything. I'll catch up on the new chat after I finish this chat. So I'll have both chats. In VMI, here's the first move down, the retrace, lower high. Next move down would be down here. Always looking for where I could be wrong. So even though it looks like a bullish bounce, we did close above the 618. We do have potential to go higher. The first instance, this looks like it's topping out, and we may get continuation lower, which would be down here. Now, that upside target, if we're going to continue to be bullish, this bounce was good. 375 upside target. Right there. So there's your downside risk. If we start breaking down below here, get below the roadmap line, down in here. That's NVMI. And Oracle. Still working on retesting this breakout. So far, we're holding it. If we break back through the roadmap line, back through the 618, sets up this 378 upside up here. So resistance here, and target here. And There's the market open again. Right there. And PLTR. So we have the bounce in place, but this also needs a bigger retrace. This is the coin flip here. Does the pattern play out and we get the upside target here at 218? Or was that first move down? This is the retrace, just went a little extra crispy spicy, and we get the second move down, and we come down here. It's kind of a coin flip. I'm not sure on this one. I have a little bit bias toward the bigger retrace down to 140, but it did trigger the upside to 218. It would fit with the bigger retrace starting in 2026 to kick off the year, kind of flush some weekends out. So that kind of fits there with PLTR being one of the top performers in 2025. QBTS, I'm not a big fan of Quantum. In case you're new here, this came up, did not get through the 618. First move down, retrace, next move down, put us down in here. 13 would be the downside there. And HIMS. Oh, going lower low, down around 30, 31. Just that downside target there. Re. And so we've got a high right there. We got a low right there. We got an upside. We're at the upside target, so watch for a retrace at this point. Right back down. Could it go up to 588? Sure. Slow price stuff under 20 bucks. Doesn't tend to work out, so be careful. Be careful. And let me go ahead and open up the other chat since we've got 10 seconds left. Bye, everybody. We'll see you again next week. If you're just a subscriber, if you're a channel member, stay tuned. It'll switch over automatically.